Maycember, that's what we're calling it. It feels just like December, and right in the middle of all the chaos, we stop to celebrate moms. Today on Bringing Hope Home, we're honoring the women who pour everything into their families, and we're talking about how to do it without losing yourself in the process. Happy Mother's Day, and welcome to the show.
Welcome to Bringing Hope Home. We're Bryce and Colette Schaffer, and we're on a mission to bring God's hope, healing, and practical strategies right into your living room.
Welcome back to Bringing Hope Home. We are Bryce and Colette, and we are here in a December. I said December. No, this is May. But I was going to say Maycember.
Maycember, yeah. That kind of fits.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't say December. Don't want time to fly that
but
fast.
They say Maycember just because it feels like December. It feels busy.
It does. I always say there's 3 different times of the year that I feel like December, and December's obviously one of them. May is another. End of April into May, and then August into September.
Yeah.
Well, with the getting back into school and routines and structure, and each one of these seasons have this different ebb and flow to them, and starting and stopping of things.
Yep.
And
in the middle of the craziest month, we celebrate moms who are doing everything.
was that on purpose, do you think?
We used to have two in our town. High school graduation was always on Mother's Day. Well, it happened to be on Mother's Day a lot because it was on Sunday. It's like, what a kind of slap in the face for Mother's Day. Here you're having to say goodbye to your kid. Well, not saying goodbye, but closing a chapter, and then you're working because you're putting on these parties. And they go all
Mother's
out.
Day. Yeah, here it's a party. It's a 3-day party because you spread out the parties. It's kind of nice. You don't have to plan for food that weekend, typically.
That's right.
But so it's great. It's always on that same weekend for graduation and Mother's Day, and it's kind of tough.
Changed now, but so anyway, we want to celebrate moms today, and
celebrate families.
And celebrate families.
Can't have a family without a mom.
That's right. And I guess to celebrate moms, first of all, we got to celebrate our own moms.
True.
And my mom, I know, watches, so I love you, Mom.
Yeah, I love you too, Mom. Yeah, right? She likes it when I call her Mom. But I used to not ever call her Mom, especially when we first started dating and then getting married, because Mom is only one place in my heart, and that's my mom. My mom's in heaven now, been there for about 16 years.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
That she's been gone that long. A blink of an eye, and then also so long ago.
Yeah. But, she impacted. She was an amazing lady. What are some of the things that you learned from her that you still take from her?
Okay. Put me on the spot.
I know.
Well, I think the biggest thing, my mom was a very structured person, and she liked to coordinate events in life. Like when a lot of different things, but we would go across the state of South Dakota, to go see her sister or her brother. Well, we make it into an event with my mom. I mean, you always had to stop for pie at Al's Oasis. Shout out to Chamberlain, South Dakota, that kind of thing. But she always made it an event. And I remember every summer my mom trying to go out for picnics. Well, it wasn't just let's grab a few things and go. It was, we're putting together a spread and we're going to do it this way. And I remember being very frustrated with that. But at the same time, looking back now, it's like she was trying to create this environment and this love and this, I don't know, the ability to communicate together. So she was very good at that stuff and connecting.
Yeah. Well, she came from a dysfunctional home, and so she was really intentional about wanting to connect with you kids and wanting you guys to have a good upbringing. Right.
And God first, always. God was always first in our lives. We had a family business, and I always worked how can I say family first? But then I always work Sundays. But so that's what I remember. How about you? One or two things about your mom?
My mom, if anybody that knows her, she is an encourager. And I think she was just good at encouraging all of us to just do what we're good at. And she, encouraged us to go further with that, whether it's
she certainly
music or, she just does that. Anyone that she meets, she's an encourager and just builds them up. And but she's one in the Bible, it says the gift of edification. And I think that would be her. She has a true gift of edification.
Yeah.
Just whoever she meets, she is edifying. She's building up. So that's something that I try to emulate and take from her. She was always playful. She was always helping us do something, put on plays or...
Yeah, did that with our kiddos as well.
Yeah, with our kids. She was always putting on plays and just doing whatever, connecting. She's a good connector.
Both of them were connecting in their own ways, and they both made you feel very special. Yeah. And very loved. Mm-hmm. And they were definitely family first. They didn't really think of themselves very often. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. So our moms, top notch.
Top notch.
I hope your mom's listening.
I hope so. No, but
comment below, Janet Gale.
Yeah. But so we just want to honor moms today, and I think as a mom, so many times we feel like we don't know what we're doing, unqualified, stressed out. Our kids aren't behaving the way that we think they should, and we think it all comes back to what did I do wrong. And when our kids graduate from high school, and I think dads too, but you're thinking, did I put everything in them? Did I handle situations? What are they going to take away? All these things I think moms just really internalize. And there's a scripture in Ephesians 5, 15 through 16. It says, "Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best of the time, because the days are evil." And, it is talking about just regular life, but that wisdom comes from God. And it says, look how, carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise. So making the best of the time. So did you make the best of the time?
Right.
To the best of your ability, to the best of your wisdom that you had at the time. We're all growing, right? Yeah. A lot of times we can look back and say, oh man, I wish I could have handled that differently.
Yeah, or done differently, or for sure. I think, that's part of growth, that's part of life. But did you do the best you could at that moment with the information and the resources you've been given? Mm-hmm. I think one of the greatest examples in the Bible, too, kind of along these lines, is Mary, the mother of Jesus. And what did she say a couple of times? There's not a lot about Jesus's childhood, but we do get an insight into Mary, the mom, where it says she pondered in her heart. She kept it. She pondered it. And I think we need to do more of that with our kids, pondering, and I think moms are great at that. Us dads, we're a go, do, brush off the dirt, or put a little dirt on it and let's go kind of people. But moms ponder a little bit more, are a little more sentimental and kind of taking it all in. And I think that's important, to take it all in, to see where we're at, to take stock in what's going on. Mm-hmm. But our moms are good at that, and I think us dads can learn from that a little bit for sure, and not be so rushed and about doing. Mm-hmm. That's definitely
taking
me.
Everything in, yeah.
As a doer.
Yep. Going back to this scripture of Ephesians 5, making the best of the time because the days are evil. Making the best of the time that we have, the short little span of time that we have our kids from, newborn to 18. And it's not 19, like they leave us and we never see them again after that, but the relationship changes. Should change. Mm-hmm. And so, we want to make the most of the time that we have with them and not to get stressed out about, am I doing enough? We're not to be everything to our kids. And here's where the stress comes when you are trying to do it on your own. Was I enough for my kid, for my children? That'll get you stressed because we can't be enough. The answer is none of us are enough for our kids. Our role as parents, first and foremost, is to point them towards Jesus.
I would agree.
And then that's it, point them towards Jesus. Help them develop a relationship with Jesus so that when they are on their own, they know where to turn. They know where to go. It's not that they have to turn to us for the answers or look to us for what they need. Same thing as a marriage relationship.
True.
You shouldn't be looking at your spouse to meet all of your needs. Well, a kid, they at first look to your parents to meet all their needs.
Yeah.
You're providing everything for them. And as you should. But then as they get through to teenager, it switches. And you need to be helping them, guiding them to look to God to meet their needs.
Right. Be more independently
and how to pray for things.
It's world preparation really the whole time to get them ready for the world and how to act, react, be taking on those challenges of life. I would think, and you're right. I don't think we are to be everything for our kids. If we are, we're doing them a disservice. We're not preparing them correctly. We're not supposed to be their best friend. We're not supposed to be the ultimate dictator in their life either. We're not to be the helicopter parent. We're not supposed to be the lazy, let them do whatever they want parent. None of those usually end up with some good results. There's going to be a lot extra scarring that would take place. It's coming alongside and having that God wisdom. That's what that verse was talking about. Be wise in how you walk. And wise is you've thought it through, you have some knowledge, and use the knowledge you have and walk through that correctly as best you can and leave the rest up to God. You always want to put God in the middle of everything you're doing anyway. And I hope you're doing that as parents. And in this season of busyness, this Maycember, however you said that at the beginning of the podcast, is the truth. But if you're just trying to run around and be everything, it's not going to be very healthy in the long run. So.
Right. So we have a couple things just to go through for moms. Right? This includes dads too, but
yes, let's do
since
that,
it's
please.
Mother's Day, moms.
We try to focus on moms a little bit. Us guys, we just get an afternoon.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have a day in June, but it ends up being just an afternoon.
We'll get there. That's next month.
Okay.
That's next month. But moms, prioritize your needs. How are you spending your time and resources? Usually moms' needs and dads, but we're focusing on moms right now, get pushed back, and it is for a season, and we know that. But in all of that, I think your children need to see you still growing and reaching and becoming.
Right. Amen.
When our kids were young, I hadn't finished college, and so they were I don't know, elementary age when I went back to school and finished. And it was a stressful time. It was
Too stressful.
Too stressful. We were trying to do too many things. We had the church. We
By
had
choice, by having to.
right.
All those things.
But I do think they were able to see me, to see mom pursue.
I agree.
And to pursue something that was other than them, that I was doing something for myself, but for all of our future, and prioritizing, my education and everything. I think that showed them what importance it was. Right. And it was just, even though it was tough to prioritize what I need to do then, I think it was beneficial for the whole family.
I think so. And when you graduated, it was a whole family.
It was a family ordeal.
We all hold up the diploma for sure. I think too, don't lose yourself as a mom. I think what you were just talking about, remember to prioritize yourself a little bit in there. Take care of you. Mm-hmm. But I think we need to remember, even guys, that we need to not lose ourselves in our kids, who we are. And that's when those parents get to the end of their kids' life at home and they look at each other and say, now what? I don't know if I know me. I don't know if I know you.
Because they lived their whole life through their kids.
Right, because it was always focused, funneled in, through, around because of their kiddos. And that, you're going to find that to be a slippery slope. So like you said, I love it. You prioritize yourself and don't lose all of yourself. You do become a mom. So you get that extra title, you get an extra hat, you get all these different things with it that are always also glorious. And like you were fulfilled as a mom.
Oh yeah, I think
So
being
we're
a mom.
We're not saying that
right.
That's very important.
Because I think the minute I became a mom, I felt like I was myself.
Yeah.
I mean, that is who I am, was a mom. I was always mothering my younger brother. I was always a
Sorry,
mom.
Chris.
I was always just a mom to, everybody. So I was fulfilled in being a mom. But there's just a balance there of still becoming, don't put your needs on the shelf either.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
Yeah, there's seasons.
There are.
Oh, yeah. Well, number two, I think is important to choices versus sacrifices. And aren't they both the same thing? And yes and no. There's choices we make, and then there's sacrifices for our kids, for ourselves, for our future. All that plays into who we are and what's going to trickle on down the road, come in later. Who we choose to marry, that's a choice, but you're also giving up things. You're also going to other things. I've seen it where married couple or people that just have kids on their own, they're single parents, and they pursue and find a love interest, and then all of a sudden everything changes for them and their kid or kiddos. So you have to just balance that out a little bit, choices versus sacrifice, and just kind of look a little bit beyond the feelings that are right now, look beyond the momentary gains or whatever, the moment, and look 3 months, a year, 5 years down the road. Are these choices really going to matter? Are they going to affect us down the road? And is this sacrifice a good thing? Are we going to sacrifice Sunday mornings for baseball? Are we going to sacrifice Sunday morning for an activity? I don't know. And what is that going to do to our family? And I think that we need to remember as parents, moms, don't get wrapped up in let's just choose for our kids, and we forget that now we've sacrificed other parts of our life or the family.
Yeah, and that goes along with the last one is, what is the final goal or the intent behind what you're doing? What is, like we talked about before, your goal should be when your kids leave the house, they have a strong relationship with God.
Can they hear from God?
Can they hear from God? I mean, that should be number one. And they need to hear from God, especially if they're going to college campuses or whatever. They need to be able to hear from God. So, that's the intent. That's the goal. So everything that we do as moms, as parents, should be wrapped up in that.
Right.
Not were they the best on this team and get to do this and this.
I agree.
Yeah.
I see a lot of times parents are so concerned and their teenagers start to grow up and try to spread their wings a little bit, and you see them making choices that maybe you wouldn't make or want them to make, or pursue interests that aren't what you would want. And my advice to them is always, well, have you taught them to hear God's voice? Going back to what you said. And if the answer is yes, then continue to lead them in that. And make sure and help them learn that feelings and emotions need to be, on the back burner to hearing God's voice. Because we're not led by feeling, we're led by His peace. Those kind of conversations need to happen as your kids get older and hopefully learning to grow in. And then you trust God in their process of their life, because they're not you. As much as they're mini me's.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. Now we have grandkids. We're seeing mini us's, mini our kids. I mean, that's the neat thing about grandparenting. We see our kids in our grandkids. At least I do. And it's like, oh, now I get to just have fun. And
get to have a redo.
Yeah, redo a little bit.
But a more fun one.
Yeah.
We don't have the...
But it's about learning to connect them to God for sure.
Yeah.
For the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And our moms did that for us.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to kind of starting to wrap this up, I think our moms, what did they do for us?
First and foremost.
Was making sure their intent to their heart was for us to love and serve God. And everything else, they're going to just cheer us on. And, go Bryce, go Colette, go God, go in their life. What a wonderful, glorious thing. Because God gives us our children, and then what we really have to do is give them right back to God. Because they're not ours.
Yeah.
They're ours to mold and to train in the way they should go. And God trusted us with His child more than they're our child.
Yep,
Whoa.
That's right. Yeah, that's a tough, but it's good. Amen.
So happy Mother's Day.
Yeah,
and that's what Mother's Day is all about.
Yeah.
Celebrating that.
So remember to bring hope home to your life today.
Thank you for listening to Bringing Hope Home. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you want to strengthen your marriage, head to SchaefferMinistries.com to take our free marriage quiz and check out our Marriage Builders course. See you next time.